Hey there, thank you so much for stopping by. You'll be hearing two different kinds of buzzing noises today. One being from my AC because I'm directly under it, and the other is from this. This is the sound of summer in Japan. That very shrill noise is all cicadas. All cicadas. The noise surrounds us literally. So the cicadas are basically Japan's soundtrack for the entire summer. And when I mean the entire summer season, I mean the entire summer season. They basically buzz non-stop for hours on end, all the way from like 7 a.m. in the morning until well in the evening, non-stop. And because of that, it's a little tricky to find a window of silence, and that makes it especially difficult in figuring out when to film. But I mean, they're just doing their business. I just didn't realize how long their business hours would be. So it's been a while since I did a Disney haul. The reason for that being I went on a Tokyo Disney trip back in spring, and I spent a lot of money considering it was the biggest Disney haul of all my Tokyo Disney trips. So I decided to show a little bit more perseverance on my spending budget following that trip, which is a good thing because I'm also able to save up a lot more for maybe my next Tokyo Disney trip. So the haul I'll be showing you today is not specifically exclusive to the Disney store, but it is a bunch of licensed Disney products that I picked up from various stores. Yes, you can find a whole bunch of pretty cool Disney merchandise, not just at the Disney store, and sometimes you have to admit that some of the stuff outside of the Disney store is in fact better. And the first one I'll be showing you is this mobile battery charger. Do you recognize the shape? And the Disney store does in fact sell this item, but they recently sold out of it online, and in stores I wasn't able to find it anywhere. So I actually picked this one up from the online store of Yodobashi Camera, which is a huge electronic chain store basically. And I was especially pleased that the price was about the same as a Disney store. So anyway, let's go back to this. If it looks familiar, that's because it is the Scream canister from Monsters Inc. You remember it's how they powered their city. They had to collect the screams of children, the battery charger being this Scream canister, of course. And I actually used this during my Tokyo Disney trip, and I just put it back in its original case to show you what the packaging looks like. So let me just take this out to give you a closer look. It's pretty cool. Like, I mean, for a mobile battery charger, I really love the concept. So there are three components that comes in the packaging. Of course, you have the actual mobile battery charger itself. And also with the charger came with this mini USB cable. It is yellow to match the charger. And this set of stickers. The designs are all Monsters Inc. You can see there's Mike Wazowski and Sully and the logo for the company. The sock, which is awesome, from George Sanderson, which you can stick onto the mobile battery charger itself to make it more of like your own style. But I chose not to use the stickers because I was perfectly fine with just using it as it is. So what makes this really cool is that when you push this button over here, it shows you the charge that is left in the mobile battery as such. And this is basically telling you it has about 60% charge, so you have just about that much juice to be able to charge your mobile phone. And I thought that was pretty awesome because that is exactly the color that shows up when you fill up the Scream canister, right? I'm not a very difficult person to please when it comes to these kind of things. The next item I picked up is, in fact, from the Disney store, and it was part of the promotion for the live-action Aladdin merchandise line. This is the bag it came in. You can see just how big it is. The packaging design features Nuimos, which is, it's basically a bendable, posable plush line. I actually did a short introduction video about this, so if you're interested in knowing more information about Nuimos, you can check that out in the link in the description. So anyway, what could possibly be so big? It is the magic carpet. Yes, I never thought I would be the owner of an actual magic carpet rug. This is actually not the first time that the Disney store in Japan released a magic carpet. They released one last year and I missed that because it sold out so fast, and I was like, no, because I just thought that was such a cool concept. I mean, to have the magic carpet as a rug. And I apparently wasn't the only one that thought so, because it sold out so fast. And this is one of the things that really bugs me about Japan. They didn't restock it because they just don't restock popular merchandise, even though it sells out so fast and so well. And so I thought that was it. That's it. I'll never get my hands on the magic carpet. And then with the new live action movie of Aladdin that came out, they released it a few days before the merchandise line was released. I saw a preview of it and I was like, okay, I'm going to set an alarm for this release date. I did that, put it in my shopping cart on the first day of release, and yes, I did get it. So I'm pretty happy that I was finally able to get a carpet of the magic carpet. And there's just such a really nice feeling about A, being able to get something that you thought wouldn't be able to get at all, and B, finally being able to get something that has been on your wish list for a long time. The next couple of items I'll be sharing with you are not from the Disney store. This one I got off the Yodobashi camera online shop. It's from the same shop that I got the Monsters Inc. mobile battery charger. It is a jigsaw puzzle from the movie Beauty and the Beast. This jigsaw puzzle is from the company Tenyo, which is pretty well known for making a whole bunch of Disney and anime based jigsaw puzzles. And they recently released this series called Musical Magic, and it features musical numbers from Disney movies, basically capture the art and the essence of that into a jigsaw puzzle. And this is original artwork. This is not taken from the movie. To date, 3 puzzles of the Musical Magic series have been released. This one is of course of Be Our Guest. There is one based off of A Friend Like Me, which is from Aladdin. And then there's I've Got a Dream, which is of Rapunzel. All of them feature original artwork, and I especially love that because sometimes I really want just like a fresh take or a fresh perspective on really well-known Disney movies, and I absolutely loved the artwork. As you can see over here, it is just so elaborate, so gorgeous. They come in different sizes. This is not the biggest size. I would say the biggest one is about 75 centimeters. This one is half of that. This particular one is especially getting a lot harder to find these days, so if you do come across it, I would say grab it because it's starting to sell out fast. The next one I picked up is from Housewares, and it's from a very well-known houseware store in Japan that is dedicated or geared towards women because it has a lot of feminine styles, and it's called fram, which I believe is a borrowed French word. I really don't know what it means, but everybody knows what it is. Sometimes Japan just likes to toss around French words and English words and just stick it on things and name it that way. But this is the design of their shopping bag. It's kind of has that like Abercrombie Fitch or Hollister like vibe going on, but I promise you it's not a clothing store. In line with the live action Dumbo movie, there was also a release of merchandise that came out because that's what Disney does, right? And the one I picked up is of this mug cover. And it features, of course, Dumbo, who is looking so adorable. It was a line theme to the circus, so this is why he's on top of like a circus tent top. There were 2 different covers that came out. This one is of pink and lime green, and there was another one that was pink and blue. I picked up the pink and green one, as you can see here, but because I thought the pose that Dumbo was on, just looking wistfully off to the side, was quite cute. The other one had him like standing up on his back legs with his trunk raised to the sky. I thought that was a typical elephant pose, so I thought this one was a much more unique pose. Let me just take him out of the plastic box and give you a closer look. Before I do that, just a quick show that the plastic box that he's in has these like maybe circusy type stars. I thought that was a really nice touch, and the mug cover sits right on the bottom of the box with those stars surrounding him. It's a little difficult to get him out of this one. Oh, there we go. Just look at how cute and adorable he is. Again, he's on top of a circus tent cover. Let me just tilt him down to give you a better look of his face. The detail of his entire body, not just his face, is amazing. There's the back. I love that his cute little butt sticks out like that. I was really hunting for a new mug cover. The one I've been using was Donald, and it has his entire face covering the top cover, but recently that kind of got sticky. I don't know how it got sticky, but it did. So baby Dumbo came out at a very good time. Again, here's what he looks like, and the top says Dumbo cup cover. This is an exclusive from item. If I remember correctly, they also released mugs and coasters and towels. So if you're into baby Dumbo, be sure to drop by a Frau. Oh, the next one I want to share with you was also a purchase from the Disney store. I totally forgot about that. Check that out. Oh, that's not a good angle. Check that out. Okay, they're supposed to be propped up like so. Can you guess what this is? Have you figured it out yet? Here's a hint. There's a slit on the top. And here's another hint. It's a tissue box cover. This is a tissue box cover. Can you believe it? This is like the most amazing tissue box cover ever! My mind was absolutely blown to see something like this. The Disney store occasionally releases classic Disney, most recently the one being of Rescue Rangers. I've also seen some DuckTales and Winnie the Pooh, but in particular the Rescue Rangers are getting a lot of love these days because Japan loves these two little chipmunks, Chip and Dale. And this one is actually part of a much bigger merchandise line. It is of course featuring the Rescue Rangers, and they had a whole bunch of houseware items, not just a tissue box cover, as well as plush and stationery items. I mean, if you love classic Disney, the Disney store likes to throw back to a lot of classics, and you just never know when they're gonna release such merchandise, so it's worth checking up on it every now and then. But anyway, going back to tissue box cover, this is their car, which is awesome. And speaking of detailing, look at this. On the side you have that turn key for that wind up part of the car, and here on the front in the license plate says Rescue. And it's all plush, it's all soft material, it's all fabric. Everything down to the wheels is fabric. I'm hoping that if it ever does get dirty, and that is like one of my greatest fears, is to get fabric dirty, I can maybe clean that off because it is cloth. Look at Chip and Dale, look at the detail of the plush. This is Japan level. Nothing about them is printed. It's all embroidery. There's very little print on them, which makes me happy because I feel like print on fabric is just like the lazy way to go. You can see that the only print part is based maybe on Chip's fedora. Even Dale's patterned shirt, which normally would have had a printed pattern, is of fabric. The lining of their eyes and mouth are all stitching. So I am so impressed by the quality and the design that went into this tissue box cover. And actually, this is not my first tissue box cover. This is my second one now. The first one being from my Tokyo Disney Resort haul, and I will leave a link in the bottom in case you're wondering and interested in what that first one was. But the funny thing is, in that video, I mentioned how I didn't really like these things, the plushes, because they tend to stick out and get in the way. And here I am, having bought a tissue box cover with not one, but two plushies on the top. Definitely will get in my way if I'm reaching for a tissue, but I don't care. This is like too awesome to pass up, right? It's like I'll just bear it for the sake of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Japan level Disney. And the final thing I want to share with you is not from the Disney store. It is not from any store actually. It is from a UFO catcher, or one of those crane game machines. And it is a plush. So it's kind of exclusive in that way because you can only get it from a crane game. Look at this. Oh my goodness. I have never seen Donald look so unlike Donald in my life. I mean, it's so extra. It's so unlike him. But this is the epitome of kawaii, I would say. This is so Japanese in so many ways, from the big eyes with the shines and the sparkles inside of it. I mean, Look at it. He has stars in his eyes, literal stars embroidered into the shine of his eyes. Kawaii Donald. And this is from a series called Yume Fua. Yume means dream and Fua means soft. So transliteration would be like soft dream. And I guess having stars on him is what makes him soft and dreamy. But here's a closer look at him. There's his giant head, which is basically like the size of his body. This is the chibi style. There are beaded stars scattered around his head, and there's even like a random pearl here and there. He has 2 points of pink blush on his cheeks. On the back of his head is just plain fluffiness. He has his trademark cap just in a baby blue color scheme because he's supposed to have a soft pastel color palette. He's holding this star wand. I have no idea why. It's just so many random things stuck onto him. This is insane. But when I saw him, I was like, this is so ridiculous. I have to have him. And look at the pads of his feet. There are more stars on the pattern of that fabric there. He is so soft. Uber soft. His whole body is made of that material. Even his feet, with the exception of the pads. They also had a Daisy one that came out with him, but I didn't think I needed 2 of them because I'm quickly running out of space for plush, so I really had to limit it, and I really just didn't need Daisy. Donald's my bias, so I just need him. So as you can see, you can still find a lot of awesome Disney merchandise outside of the Disney store. You just kind of have to hunt for them, I would say. Disney is just so big in Japan, you can practically find it anywhere. And a lot of the times, it's a very pleasant surprise. If you enjoyed this haul and are interested about the Disney scene in Japan, I hope you'll consider subscribing and giving it a like. Thank you so much for sharing and spending your time with me. Have a magical day, and I'll see you in the next video.